Welcome to our brand new podcast. I guess presentations. Here's
Are in order.
here's little Mavi, our our first baby boy that came into the world exactly 7 weeks ago. Well, 7 weeks and a few days ago. I'm Val,
And I'm Nico.
and we are starting our podcast. Unnamed podcast for now, but I guess the perfect name will come to us.
Yeah, and then we'll just name it when it does.
Yeah.
And
Why we wanted to do that is because we always have these like
great discussions.
awesome,
Amazing
deep
discussions.
conversations, you and I. And we were like, I feel like
Why
more
not?
people need to listen to that and watch that and be there with us.
I agree. So we decided to create this little podcast, and we are beginning with our story.
Yeah, because we got this
Which-
question a lot. I mean, we started our YouTube channel at the end of August now.
Months ago.
And, we did a Q&A and we asked people to, send us some questions. And a question that came like at least 10 times was, how did you guys meet? What's
was
your
your
story?
story?
So, yeah, I mean,
We have a great
great-
story.
it's
We
a
have-
great story and it
we have an
ends.
amazing story.
It ends, not ends because it's definitely not the end, but
Still being written.
it's being written. But right now, the last adventure was this little guy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So we should probably begin with where we were.
Yeah, exactly. I think
our
you should
lives
start with
individually.
like, where were you in your life
Man.
back then? So let's just preface this. We're talking summer 2020.
Summer 2020.
Summer 2020.
'Kay.
Yeah.
So I was fresh. Like I was just returning from my travels in 2018, and I started a new job as soon as I got back. I'm not gonna name where I was working, but those who know me know I was an executive assistant at a pretty prestigious company.
Mm-hmm.
And I grew quite a bit while I was there, and it so happened that every single year at this business of mine, we would take out our top clients, and we would have a golf tournament in Tremblant. And Tremblant is like what, maybe like an hour and a half away, 2 hours away in the Laurentians.
Yeah, no, it's like an hour and 30 minutes.
About an hour and a half away from Montreal. And it's pretty much like a pretty big spot. But anyway, so yeah, I was working for a good 2 years at this company where I kind of made my mark, and I was able to go on these events. Well, I was actually the one coordinating the event. Well, I had a colleague of mine coordinating the event, and I was the one on scene. Dealing with everything and being able to be with all these top clients and as well as our colleagues. And I mean, where was I, man? I was still, 2 years is, I'm still pretty fresh in the company. I was like,
and you're like hustling, I feel. You're hustling.
oh yeah,
for this
100%.
company.
I was hustling. 100% I was hustling. I was working really, really hard. I was working and I was really like motivated too. And I really saw a future in this company. Like this was pretty much going to be my,
your career.
100%. I was building the career for sure. And I definitely had big dreams and I wanted to do a lot of things. And, things obviously change. I mean, one weekend changed my entire life. So,
Yep.
so yeah, that's pretty much where I was. I mean, I wasn't doing anything special. I mean, the company itself was really, it was so prestigious and it was very new in terms of what hospitality was for them. So like, you could think of me like in terms of like a high-end concierge for like a really like, really high-end 5-star hotel.
You were kind of building your role there.
Oh, 100%.
So you kind of had like that entrepreneur vibe to that.
Yeah, definitely.
Role in that company.
That entrepreneurial spirit, definitely. Yeah. That was pretty much why I was able to excel so far into my role. Yeah.
So where was I summer 2020? Man, I feel like I was pretty much in my explore and have fun phase of my life because I kind of never had this phase. I never had a clubbing phase. I never had a dating phase. I was in fitness for like 7 years of my life in my early 20s. So 2020 was the year where I got out of a pretty serious relationship and I kind of put all my endeavors and my business on the side just because I wanted to have fun. I wanted to have a community. I wanted to have friends. And I wasn't focused on anything else than like my pleasure, fun, and just like have a good time because I didn't have that phase at all in my life. So that weekend, I actually decided to go to Tremblant with my girls. So we were a group of 5 girls, and it had been a couple weeks. We were talking about just having a weekend up north or a weekend somewhere in nature, in the woods, and like rent a nice, cute Airbnb. And it was really last minute, and like everyone was all over the place, not kind of agreeing to where we wanted to go. And I just put my foot down. I was like, let's go to Tremblant. I'm gonna book the Airbnb. So I went ahead the Monday before, and we left the Thursday. I find an Airbnb in Tremblant. We book it, and we leave on the Thursday.
This was August 2020.
August 2020. So that's where I was in my life. You know, I was basically just hanging out with my girlfriends, with friends all summer. I was dating here and there, but nothing serious. And yeah, I was kind of fresh out of a relationship. February of that year, I was out of that relationship. And just to remind you guys, it was also, we all know what happened in 2020, right? Like March 2020, freaking pandemic, like COVID was everywhere. So I was kind of the rebel.
But it was new. It was
new, but
no one knew how to handle the situation.
Yeah, it was new, but it was still a big deal. I remember people like judging me for having that phase of like going out with friends and like kind of exploring, you know, myself.
You were still doing us, 100%.
It was like people were like, be careful, you know, stay home. And I was like, fuck that. Like, I want to live my life. I'm just out of a relationship.
Sure.
I'm like, I want to discover who I am.
I mean, for us, it was just business goes on. I mean, a pandemic doesn't finish.
My life kept going on. And I remember at the end of that year, I was like, wow, that was the freaking best year of my life. And like everyone else around me was like, oh, worst year of my life. It sucked. And I was like, yeah, I create my own reality. So that's where I was at in 2020 during that weekend in August.
Now, let's say like, okay, so this was like, let's say the 24th of August or no, 25th of August.
We met. So
you guys went down as a Thursday.
No, we met the 27th.
The Friday night or the Saturday night?
We met the Thursday.
The Thursday night.
So,
we were out on the Thursday night.
So we left
the 27th.
The 27th. We left the 27th. It was a Thursday.
I'm pretty sure I was there the 26th. So I was there at 26 Tremblant, and I was at the Fairmont Hotel, and I was getting everything ready, and I was getting everything set up. I spent the night there. And then, or I might be mistaken because it's been a couple times when we went there. So I could be mistaken. Actually, I could have gone there the day of, the Thursday. I actually drove up the Thursday of and getting everything set up there. And the tournament was the next days. It was the Friday, the Saturday, and we were leaving on the Sunday. So mind you, everything, expenses paid. Like this was the business trip for me. Like I was working, the cars, like we'll get into that later. The cars, like everything. So it was pretty much like, a weekend off. Like I didn't really have any vacation working where I was at. I wouldn't really choose to take vacation. It was like no point. Like what am I going to do? You know, like there's nothing to do like for a week of vacation. Anyways, nothing for me to do anyways. So what I would do is I would work the entire year. And then that weekend was pretty much like our time off. I was still working, but I was like enjoying myself.
Yeah. You guys were having like really
so much fun. Time. Oh yeah. 100%. Everything, expenses paid, the food, like alcohol, the tournament, food, the alcohol. Yeah. Oh yeah. Like, you know, like Nico had the company card and was definitely swiping that thing. So what was happening was I was setting up. So I went to the Fairmont Hotel, and basically I was the one coordinating our night outs. So every single night out, we would go to the same place, which was Café de l'Époque, in the middle of the Tremblant village.
Yep.
And I booked there for the Thursday, the Friday, and pretty sure that we had the big booth in the back. But mind you guys, this is COVID. Like, were people really going out?
Yeah, there's not much happening in Tremblant.
But, you know, anyways, that night it ended up being pretty popping. Like, it ended up being pretty full at the end of the night. Like, people go to the Tremblant. And it was just beginning of pandemic. So people were still, like, on.
And also, there was, like, a break during the summer where things kind of reopened. And, like,
I don't know if that was the reopening phase.
Yep, it was.
It was the reopening phase?
It was.
It was, like, with the measures on, I'm not so sure what measures I should put in place.
Yeah, but things were reopening because I remember during winter, a lot of things closed. Like restaurants were closed, like some stores were closed. And then by the summer, case always go down. So things reopened.
Okay. So this was like, so basically we were like allowed back out. Like before like the first little lockdown.
Well, I remember we were allowed back out in May.
I actually don't remember though.
I remember we were allowed back out in May because I remember a night out with friends. And I posted a picture on my other Instagram and I was like, COVID night out. And it was like the first night, like the restaurants were back. Open,
okay, but with all those measures, with all those like
everybody with all had different measures, like wearing your mask up to your table,
and then taking it off. Okay,
yeah.
So it's kind of like the same kind of vibe, right? It was put your mask in, walk in, go to your section, and then take your mask off. And if you ever wanted to walk in the hallways, like you weren't already like,
Yeah, yeah.
in general public, you had to put it back on. Okay. So my first day at the business there was pretty much nothing. We were just settling everybody in, and everybody was coming in. So we had about 36 golf players or clients of ours who would come in to participate in this tournament. So it was kind of a lot to coordinate, but it was really easy. Like it wasn't much to do. So everybody was already in. We were already going out for our first night out, which was just a supper, a little banquet, and then we would go out to the club. But I might be mistaken once again. We probably played golf that day. I'm not really sure. I don't think so. I think our golf was the Friday, the Saturday, and the tournament was on the Sunday. So we were just settling in. We did a little banquet, and we then went to Café d'Époque.
Yep.
And man, Café d'Époque was it was kind of lit. It's the spot. It's the Tremblant spot.
It was empty.
It was when we were there.
When we were there.
But we were there early. We were there kind of early, right?
Early, yeah.
We were there around like 10, right? People start arriving around like 11:30, 12 in Montreal, right?
That's how we club.
And the cutoff because of COVID was 2, not 3. It was 2.
Yep.
So which made a huge difference. Anyways, so I remember going into Café d'Époque, and I remember going because our booth was in the back. And when we go there, we pretty much make, I wouldn't say their year, but we pretty much make like their month, just us alone, or maybe even half the year because we spend so much money. And we ended up getting like 3 bottles, and we were going to save those bottles all the way for the days after. We weren't going to drink it all. We weren't even all there anyways, I'm pretty sure. And we're in the back, and we had to, so I put on my mask, and I walked in, and we get to our section. I took my mask off, and we're just chilling. I'm chilling with my coworkers, a lot of my bosses, and some clients. And I'm pretty sure we were just vibing, music was good. The people there working there were cool. It was a pretty cool experience. And I'm pretty sure they changed the location a little bit. So the year before, they had like the whole bar set up. They had cages where like the women were dancing. But they had the same kind of thing, but it was kind of reversed. Anyway, I remember that. So anyways, that's pretty much me when I walked into Café d'Époque. I don't know how you guys got there.
Well, we got to our Airbnb, I guess, at the end of the day, like beginning of the evening, and we settled there. It was really nice, like nice view on the water. And we were pretty much going to stay in. Like, I think we all agreed. We were like, our weekend would start the Friday, and that we were just going to, have dinner and chill at the Airbnb. It was a really nice Airbnb. But then we're having supper, and we all look at each other and we're like, let's just go take a walk in the Tremblant village. And by the way, for those who don't know Tremblant, it's kind of like Whistler in Vancouver. Like, I feel like a lot of people know Whistler more than Tremblant. So it's like a nice, cute little village with all the shops and like a mountain, and it's just a really nice. So we're like, we're going to take a walk at the village because it's summer and it's nice and it looks pretty. So we're all in like our sweats and like our sneakers.
Straight workout clothes. I remember.
Straight like leggings, like workout clothes. And like I had my Converse.
Loungewear kind of, yeah.
Loungewear kind of. Like we're not thinking about going in a club at all. So I think we were supposed to be 5 girls. We're the four of us. We're 4 of us because another one of our friends is joining us later. And we walk by Café d'Époque, and we hear music coming out of the club. And I'm not a big club girl at all, so my plan was really to just walk that night and like enjoy the nice crisp air of.
Did you imagine if you would have just decided to keep walking?
No, I can't imagine that.
Crazy.
Well, I have a few of my friends, especially one, Julie. Shout out to you if you're watching this.
And what was that song that just came out? It was WAP.
It was WAP. That song had just came out. We were like listening to it and like just jamming to it, like for fun.
They had
like,
a whole dance. They had a choreography.
Learning the dance, from TikTok.
Oh, it was a TikTok choreography.
The WAP dance from TikTok. Like everybody knows.
So
this.
Funny.
But my friends just like look at us and another one of our friends too, Alexandra, was like she loved clubbing and dancing, and they're like, let's go, let's ask them how it works, like if we can dance, if there's good music. And I'm kind of like, girls, I kind of just wanted to take a walk and then go to bed. But we all agree, like all the 4 of us, to go in and see what's up, have a drink, and maybe dance if there's some good music, because we do love to dance. We do love to just go out to club and like dance it out. And it was
none of them were drinkers either.
No, we're not drinkers. We couldn't do it for like several months because of COVID. Mind you, we didn't think it would last that long after that, but we thought, it's been a while, let's do it. So we asked the guy at the door, we asked the bouncer, how does it work? And he's like, well, you have a table and you stay at your table and you like dance around your table, I guess. We're like, okay, let's do it. So that's how we got in Café d'Époque.
So
I guess
we're in the back, I'm in the back and
Yeah.
I see these 4 gorgeous ladies
yeah,
walk
I mean
in.
we're pretty
And
good looking. I
The
guess.
only ladies to walk in,
Yeah.
mind you. So
It was,
was
pretty
kind of-
empty at that time because
yeah.
I guess it wasn't even 10 p.m. I think it was like probably like 9:30, 9:45.
It was early. It was like 10. I'm pretty sure we got there. It was about 10 o'clock.
About 10.
Yeah, we got there pretty early. It was unbecoming or usually Montrealers don't go to the club at 9:30,
Montrealers
10.
we go at like
11,
midnight.
11:30. Midnight is like,
when it starts.
yeah,
being
when
like-
it starts, when it gets litty.
Yeah.
So I see these ladies come in, and I'm pretty sure that, like, first of all, I was bored out of my mind just talking to a bunch of the colleagues and a bunch
Yeah.
of workers. Like, we're always talking, we're always conversing, So I was like, you know what, like, I'm just gonna, anyways, I was looking fresh that night. I had those.
Mhm.
I was looking really good. I had short hair too, so, like all like coiffed to the side. Anyways, doesn't matter.
Yeah.
So I end up just approaching them, and I kind of approached them in like the kind of way where I didn't really want anything to do with them. Like I wasn't really
he
there.
didn't want to like pick us up.
No,
like,
I wasn't
pick one
gonna
of
pick
us
them up. I was just there, like, yo, guys, come to my corner and let's just dance. You know what I mean? Like, you guys can converse with the guys. Plus, little side note, a part of my job was to kind of, attract women to come and speak to the boys. You know what I mean? Because I was the young one, I was the gun.
Yeah.
So I was kind of the one that pulled the trigger and talked to the ladies. Anyways, I have no shame, so it really didn't matter whether or not I was gonna. Anyways, we were in Tremblant, so what can go wrong? So, anyways, the way I approached him was like, like, hey, like I literally said it, like, I want nothing to do, you guys. I just want to dance. If you guys want to come dance, I love dancing. And then all of a sudden, the bouncer comes to see me. I remember this. The bouncer comes to see me. He's like, "What are you doing without your mask?" I was like, "What do you mean?" Like, like, he's like, "You need to put your mask on from crossing this to go to their table." I was like, "Wait, what?" I was like, "What are you talking about?"
So I think you put your mask on because
I ended up putting my mask on.
Because I feel like you had your mask on at some point.
So then I was just like, and then you guys ended up agreeing. You guys were all looking at each other, and you guys agreed. So it's like, I didn't look like such a bad guy. And I'm like, okay, come to my section. Like, we're just gonna, and we're literally like 2 feet away, like not even.
Yeah, it's really not
like table
odd.
to table, like it was 2 feet away. And he's like, you can't. I was like, what do you mean I can't? You know what I mean? And in my head, I was like, guys, like we just like spent money here.
I know.
Like, we're running your place. You guys are making money off COVID. So you guys must be psyched to be making a little bit of money, getting some tips tonight. And you're telling me that I can't do what I want to do, kind of, So I was kind of a little frustrated, but it ended up being, he ended up taking me out. So he took me out of the club, and he was telling me that
we had to go out with you
out
and
the
come
club and come
in
back
with
just
you.
in case police officers were looking at the joint. Pretty much.
Yeah.
Or authorities. So what ended up happening, we ended up back to the club. I got to the section. I was like, you guys have to leave with me, and we have to come back and go to the spot. Then I'm pretty sure the owner came, and he's like, no, it's fine. You can just go to the section.
Yep.
So we ended up going to the section. After all that, nothing happened. So we ended up going back to the section, and I mean,
we just started like talking and
yeah,
dancing,
we were talking,
like,
but we
having a good
weren't really
time.
into each other yet. Like,
No,
we were.
I mean, I thought you were cute. No, I thought you were cute the first night, actually. Yeah, I was into you the first night. I
You were
remember.
into me the first night?
Yeah.
I wasn't too sure which one to pick from.
Yeah,
Joking.
because you're funny. You're funny. I remember at the end of the night, so we're just having a good time. I think we spent like 2-3 hours together, and like we danced to WAP and like all that. And at the end, I was talking just to you. And
Whoa! At the end, let's back it up a little bit. Let's see what happened first, because I remember something that happened that I wasn't too happy about. So.
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah, I remember this.
Oh,
Like,
yeah, that was
I
funny.
remember. So I'm just like I'm chilling. I turn around and they're gone. So I was like,
Yeah.
what the hell? Where did they go? And they're literally in a booth with other men who
'Cause
bought them shots.
Yep.
And I remember them not drinking, so I don't understand what they're doing there, having no and then I'm in my section alone with all the boys again. And I'm like, what's
And
going
then
on?
you know what happened? I think we're all there with these boys. They're fucking boring. Like literally, I think they come from Ontario or something. Because people.
They weren't locals. They
weren't locals. And Tremblant is like a pretty touristy destination in Montreal, in the Montreal area. So they weren't from here. They were trying to make conversation, but they were really boring. And I remember looking to my friend Roxanne, and we're just like talking. And I really like, to
How
ourselves.
ladies do,
like,
like,
exactly. And I'm like, yeah, poor Nico. Like, he's all by himself. Like, he's so much more fun. Like, let's just go back to him. Like, il fait pitié, like, poor him. Like, we're kind of looking at him and like, he's the OG. Like, let's go back to him. It's so much more fun. So me and Roxanne were like, okay, bye. We kind of leave these guys and like go back to Nico's booth.
pretty much. And to tell you the truth, before like you really caught my eye, it's true that I wasn't really sure. Like I was obviously not even actually thinking of, interested in any of you, but obviously I was kind of thinking of all of you, like kind of like one by one, like Julie really wasn't my type. Roxanne was kind of, like dark hair, tattoos, and I was just like, kind of thing. But she had a boyfriend. She said it right away. I remember it. She said it right away.
She had a boyfriend back then.
And then Alexandra Silini, she was kind of cute. She was kind of small, a little bit more my type too. And then I was looking at Val a little bit too, and I was kind of like, also a little bit my type. You know what I'm saying? But I wasn't gonna pull the first move, is what I'm trying to say.
Yeah.
But Mademoiselle pulled the first move.
Yeah. So I asked for your Instagram at the end of the night. I remember.
But before that.
No, I think that was the second night.
What did you do before that? You made a TikTok about it.
I know, but was it the first night or the second night?
Definitely the first night.
It was the first night?
Definitely the first night. That's how
postpartum brain is kind of wonky right now.
That's how you got my Instagram. You started the conversation
it's true. So we were talking just two of us at the end of the night, and I noticed he was wearing a mala on his hand. And I asked him about it because a mala is a very spiritual object, usually used for meditation or for prayer. So I was like, oh, you have a mala on your hand. Like, do you meditate? Like, are you into that stuff? And he was like,
and that opened up like
a full-on conversation of him going to China for 3 months in 2018 to do like a certification training of Shaolin, which is martial art.
Yeah.
So he was into all that stuff, like spirituality, meditation, and like, like that self-discipline you need to have when you go do a training like that. And I was like, well, I did a training, like a similar training for a month in India in 2018. So the same year. So it kind of like, it opened up something we had in common. And
a pretty deep conversation we ended up having the next day.
Yeah. So I asked him for his Instagram that night because obviously I wanted to like connect with this guy and like have more conversation.
Pulls up Instagram. Man has like 300 followers. Pulls up her Instagram. She's got like 6K followers.
Yeah,
I was like,
back then I had like 6K followers.
I was like, who are these ladies? Yeah.
And I remember like you scrolled down and like found that one picture when I was meditating, like an ugly ass picture, and you liked that
late
one picture.
Night. Yo, late night, man. I was like pretty sure I listened to one of your podcasts too, like late night.
I think you did, yeah.
Like,
or was it the second night?
I remember like episode 48. Am I wrong? Like, was it like episode 47 or 48? I don't know, something like that. Like, I have that weird. Anyways.
No, it was more in the 60s, I think.
In the 60s.
Yeah. Because it was like the masculine
and feminine.
I stopped
at episode 47, 48.
Yeah, probably.
Very possible.
But I think that's the second night you listen to podcasts.
Yeah, it might be the second night.
So first night we just like added each other on Instagram. You
guys left the Friday night?
No, we left the Saturday
morning. Yeah, because you guys
Saturday morning.
Okay, so that's pretty much the first night.
First night we left.
You guys left a little earlier, and then after that we left kind of late. We had to settle the bill.
We messaged on Instagram that night. You were like,
You
were like, my meditation buddy or something. Like you DM'd me.
Yeah,
something like that.
So. Well, I was planning on seeing you the next day. Like, I was asking if she. We did
leave and like.
Well, let's lead up to that. You guys left. We texted, and then. The 28th morning of. So our official date that we say that we met each other
is the 27th.
Is the 27th. That we started dating basically.
Yeah, so it's like our date,
Pretty much.
We celebrate that date. We don't celebrate like our first kiss or our first whatever. It's like the day we met.
Yeah. So the 28th rolls around and I'm waking up. I have to go set up the golf tournament, which was at La Bête Golf Club. And we had the 36 players, pretty much do a full round. 18 holes. I pretty much finished around 2:30, and I get to the hotel, and before I lead up to what my next play was, I'll let you say a little bit about what your morning was like.
I mean, very, very typical morning for the
ladies.
For the ladies, like we wake up, we have our coffee, I think we did a little bit of yoga, meditation, journaling, like all that stuff. We have a cute little morning routine, have breakfast. And obviously we wanted to go on a hike that day. It was a really nice, beautiful, sunny day. So our move was to go to Tremblant village and then from there go on a hike. So that's what we did. We did our little morning breakfast. And we headed back to the village to our hike. And I remember we wanted to see you that day. Like, and by the way, not just me. I had a crush on him, but like all my girlfriends loved him. It was like love at first sight for all of us. Like he was part of the girls already. And all of us were like, we agreed that we wanted to see you again that day and like go back to that club because it was such a fun night. So I remember I was the one texting you, obviously, because we connected on Instagram. So I told you we were going on a hike.
And then
you couldn't come on the hike because you were working.
Yeah, I was working.
And our plan after the hike was to go to
that
the
little
beach.
That little beach.
Yes.
Yeah.
So I told you that I was going to text you my location so that you could come join us at the beach. So we went on our hike, had fun, worked out a little bit.
Anyway,
and
mind you, they're taking a hike. I'm in a golf cart smoking a fat cigar, just chilling.
Yeah, straight
getting
up
that.
chilling.
And I'm just like waiting for everybody to be done so that we could go back to the hotel. So we ended up going, I go back to the hotel. And I run up to my boss's car, the president of our company, and I'm like, can I go to the beach, with those girls I met last night, And he's like, yeah, go have fun.
Yeah.
Be back by supper time, you know what I mean? But this was like a be back by supper time and don't fuck up, like be back by supper time. So I was like, all right. So I ended up hopping into the Porsche, grab the Panamera Porsche, and I ended up going to the beach. But what they did is that they texted me like, oh, grab us some kombucha.
Yeah, because my friend Julie, pretty high maintenance, she's like,
dude,
I want kombucha. Ask him if he can bring kombucha.
Where am I gonna find
and
kombucha in the village?
Obviously, he wants to be a gentleman, so he's like, where can I find freaking kombucha?
I do a dep. I do an outside dep. I'm like, oh, there's a Couche-Tard just before we get into Tremblant. Go like a good 15, 20-minute drive to get the kombucha. Grab a couple bottles. Get to the beach.
So by that time, we made our way to the beach.
Yeah, you guys were pretty much already settled.
We're settled. We're like having
I walk
fun.
into the little beach resort, and I can't even walk in because they're glass bottles.
Yep.
So pretty much, I'm like scurrying around. I'm like, yo, send me some plastic cups. I'm gonna pour them in, and then I'm gonna leave the glass bottles outside, and then bring the cups, and then bring the cups. And that was kind of funny because I was just chilling on the beach, and these girls were having a time of their lives.
We're just
dancing,
like singing our song, singing. You're
dude,
filming us.
I'm filming them.
We're asking him to film us. He was like, when I tell you he was part of the girls, like he was part of the gang. He was like, we weren't shy at all.
No.
We I remember Julie guessed your zodiac sign. She's like, and she got it first try. She was like, you're a Taurus, and you're a Taurus. I think I said Sagittarius because you really had that fire spirit to me. But anyway. So we're just having fun, and the beach is closing super freaking early at 6 p.m. because of COVID.
Yeah, it was really early.
Surprise.
But you guys found a spot.
We found a spot, a little park, not too far. And then what happened on the way to the park was freaking fun too.
Oh yeah, that was really funny too. That's a good story too. So on the way out of the beach, Roxanne was driving, and she pulls out of with her BMW X3, I'm pretty sure.
Yep.
And I pull out with the Porsche Panamera, and all of these ladies are like, "Oh shit,
so,
we just bagged a rich boy."
We're all thinking this guy is mega rich. I'm like, oh sheesh, this guy's cute and he's rich.
$136,000 car. Like, what's going on?
But no, it wasn't his car.
No, it wasn't my car. It was a work
so
car.
Yeah, we're driving on the way to this next spot, which is a park, and my.
But wait, how did that happen?
It
was out of the BMW or out of the Tesla? It was out of the BMW.
Yeah, out of her. She has the
sunroof out of the BMW. It was the BMW. Okay.
Yeah. So my friend opens the sunroof, and my girlfriends are we're just having the time of our life. We're having fun, and they decide to car surf, which is not really car surfing.
Car surfing is $1,300 ticket.
She just pulls out of the sunroof, her hands in the air like that. The police cuts us.
Woo, woo. And I'm literally kind of filming on the side, so I have a clip of her coming out of the sunroof.
So freaking funny.
Dude, they made a clip. It was the funniest clip ever. So the police pull us over and slap her with $1,300 ticket.
Yeah, she had to fight it.
There's another thing too.
You lose all your points.
Car surfing for 1,000 something, and she didn't sign her registration papers or something like that. And Roxanne got go for that.
Yeah, because she was it was her insurance.
Her insurance wasn't signed,
her car wasn't signed. It was fine, and her insurance she had to show from her phone.
Oh.
She didn't have it on paper, so that was
that was also
we let her go, but it was fine. But Julie ended up having the ticket. Only Julie, and Alexandra also did the car surfing. So yeah, Julie was in shit.
Livid,
so she had to fight her ticket and everything. But anyway, that was
hilarious.
Hilarious. And we ended up going to the park, and you led us through a meditation.
Yes, I did. I led you guys through a meditation.
Which I think was super freaking you know, just got an even bigger crush on you when you did that.
Yeah, but we ended up speaking too earlier on.
Yeah,
like,
just
we were
the two
talking,
of us.
yeah.
You were asking me about my business, actually,
Yeah.
like what I was doing. And I remember, like,
Also your travels.
back in
also,
2020,
yeah.
like, I had a business, but I was pretty much on hold. Like, everything was on hold. I wasn't working that much. Like, I put everything aside that year when the pandemic hit and when I went through my breakup. And, like, I was just like, I need to chill. I need to chill. I need to kind of find myself to have more clarity on my business. So I told you all that. I told you about my travels and everything.
Yeah,
and, like, kind of we had a, like, one-on-one conversation without all the noise of the club for the first time at the beach. So that was the beach. And then you realized you were like
6:30.
You were late.
I'm like, oh shit, I'm late. And I have to set up like pretty much the dining area. Well, set up. What I mean like is just like look over what they're doing to set up, make sure that everything is okay. I'm getting texts, I'm getting phone calls like, oh, where are the cigars? What's going on? What's happening? And I'm like, God damn, you know, the only thing they really needed was the cigars because they were going through the secret stash and they would have to go through our stash. Anyways, it was really funny. So I ended up getting there like around 7:15 and I'm rushing. I had to go get changed and stuff. So anyway, I show up pissed. They're pissed at me. But at the same time, it really didn't matter. Like it was just, they knew I was having a good time and that the ladies were going to come back. So that's all they really cared about at the end of the night. You know what I mean? So
we go back to our Airbnb to change and then we decide where we want to go have supper. And I think we texted you and like we asked you if you wanted to have supper with us, but you couldn't.
No, I was at another banquet. It was like a banquet every night.
So like I think we texted you and asked you if you wanted to have dessert with us.
Yes.
So
yes,
we
I met you guys actually
at the restaurant.
It
was an Italian restaurant.
Around 8, 7:38 maybe.
Yep. So we have dinner at the Tremblant Village. And then we're like, let's go have some beaver tails because that's the typical like traditional dessert there in Tremblant in Quebec, basically.
Pretty much in Quebec, yeah.
So what happened is I asked him if he wanted to share a beaver tail with me because those things are huge and I wasn't about to have one by myself. And I don't know, I was like...
So we shared our first dessert together.
Yeah, a little beaver tail. It was kind of cute, you know, kind of sitting cute. on the
side there, on the sidewalk.
Like...
Yeah. And I was like... in Malasana, just chilling.
Yeah.
And we met your fifth friend.
Yep.
Your fifth friend, Valérie,
yeah. So...
And by the way, like, not just your typical, like, friend group. Like, you guys were all,
really
like,
different.
like, very different. All very successful entrepreneurs, all doing their own thing, like, all have their own stories.
You know, the kind of group, like, no drama, no like...
none at all.
Not
like,
typical. Like, we have those deep conversations.
Yeah, like very successful women who are, like, super, like, intriguing. And, like, you guys all had kind of different, like, aspects of business. Like, one had a food company. The other one kind of she was fresh off OD, like, a couple years or something like that, kind of working on her brand. The other one was a therapist. What kind of therapist?
Energetic therapist.
Energetic therapist. You were kind of doing your own coaching little business. And I don't remember what Rox was doing. What was Rox doing at the time?
I don't think she was trading yet.
She wasn't trading yet?
I think she was in the... Like
she was still doing her own thing. She was kind of building her own brand. Her own, like,
I think so.
Okay.
Vegan activism.
Yeah.
I think she tried to be in the real estate, like commercial real estate.
Yeah, she was. She was doing real estate. You're right. She was doing real estate. Well, I think she was starting real estate a little after.
Yeah.
So
she was like
she was
leaning
hopping
into
around.
it. Yeah.
But she's another like pretty strong personality.
Businesswoman,
Very business oriented.
So yeah, we were in your typical friends group for sure.
No, and obviously Alexandra Cellini, she had 100K followers at the time on Instagram.
So you were like,
everybody was tripping, like, what the fuck, 100K? You know, no one sees that. Well, no one runs into that, anyways.
Yeah, it's
us normal
rare.
people, anyways.
Yeah, and in Quebec too, we don't
have that many influencers.
There.
Yeah, so it was kind of surprising, you know, who we were gonna run into, and obviously all of the boys were freaking out.
Yeah, there was a few of your boys that
were freaking out, like, what's going on? Yeah, they were all crushing on her. Yeah.
So we go back to Café des Pucks after that because we had so much fun. That first night, we're like, let's do it again.
And this night was popping. Friday.
It was Friday, so it was popping for COVID too.
Holy shit!
The music was good, and I remember we were at the restaurant. We were making a list
of the songs
that you were gonna ask for.
Guy,
so we were just like making a list, like writing it down, like pen and paper. So we just have like a blast. We danced. I feel like we connected more too. Like
we were dancing, we were talking,
trying to talk like super loud through the music. And I remember Roxanne like kind of coming to me like,
yeah, he looks like he's that guy, and I remember that too. I remember that too. She was staring at both of us.
Yeah, because like I guess it could be felt.
Man, that's pretty much history right there. Like that's how everything.
I mean, I feel like we can insert like a clip of like all of us dancing because I have those clips in my phone. It's freaking hilarious.
Yeah, it is pretty funny.
So yeah, I'll try and put like it here somewhere.
Sure.
So I guess that's the story of how we met. And that night, obviously, we were leaving.
That night, they're like, "Oh, Nico, can you walk us out to the car?"
Because they were like weird guys
couple creepers outside.
Creeps outside. So we're leaving obviously the next morning. So we asked him like to escort us to our car and like to say bye.
What a good weekend, man.
So yeah, he walked us like to our car and like we said bye and like a hug. Oh yeah, baby, what's going on? Daddy and Mom are telling their story. You're gonna know that story one day. So, and we kind of knew like we were gonna see each other. Like,
for sure.
It's
oh
like
my God.
we didn't. I don't think we talked about it, but like I knew we were gonna talk on Instagram and like you're gonna.
For sure.
And that night, you messaged me at like 2 a.m. that you listened to my episode about the masculine and feminine energies, and you were like so impressed, and you left like a pretty long like Instagram DM, and I remember you freaked out after because I didn't answer because I was asleep, and you were like asking yourself if it was too much.
Yeah.
And when I woke up in the morning and I saw that message at around 9, I was like, oh my God, I was so happy actually that you like took the time to listen to one of my podcasts. Like it meant so much, you know, it meant so much that you like took a time to listen to like
at 2 a.m.
And like in a deep,
what
it was
else
like
was I gonna
a
do?
really good and deep episode about.
Yeah, it was a good episode.
Yeah, and it was like kind of like episode. I built my brand around like masculine and feminine energies.
Yeah.
Like, and business and like all aspects of your life. So I was super happy that you listened to that specific episode. And then we started talking. I remember we started sending like voice messages, and I remember like loving your voice so much, your voice messages. And that's kind of how we started like, you know, texting ish and like just the two of us, you know.
I was actually listening to her podcast
at
work every day. I got to like episode like 48. Like I almost
he started at episode 1 and like you listen up to like 40
after a while though, because I was listening to her and I was chilling with her all the time
and we were dating.
I was like, yo, dude, like I'm tired of hearing your voice. I was like, it's over. I am not finishing these podcasts.
Yeah, we needed some polarity.
Yeah, 100%. 100%.
So I guess that's our story.
Was there a couple first dates though? What was her first dates?
Okay, so
I just remember
we left. So we left the Saturday, so that was the weekend, and our first date was the next week, the Wednesday. So we just kept like texting on Instagram and talking, and yeah, we had a first date. We went to a vegan restaurant.
Love,
because I was
Lola Rosa. True, yeah. I remember now. Yes, so I always remember you in that summer dress as our first date, but it wasn't. You weren't in a summer dress. You were dressed super casual now. Yep. And I remember being at Lola Rosa. I remember telling you to go to Lola Rosa because I wanted to read those notes inside the little desks.
Yeah.
Okay, cool. All right, so yeah, definitely Lola Rosa was our first date, which was great.
It was a Wednesday,
that was actually really amazing.
It was just like a night at restaurant. You picked me up, and you're in a nice big car that day. It was like a truck or an Audi or something, or I don't know. It was a big car.
I remember.
So he was changing cars pretty often.
Well, because part of my job was to take care of the company fleet.
So he picked me up in a nice car. We went to Lola Rosa, had some nice vegan dinner, and then we just came back to my place because I think it was raining that day, so couldn't really walk.
She had her own place in Ush,
and we just chilled at my place, and we talked up to like 2 a.m. Yeah, and nothing happened.
That's
like
funny.
No kiss.
That's funny. No kiss, no nothing.
Just a hug at the
like
end.
Deep conversation, just like a hug at the end. You know, not even asking me to stay. Fuck that. I had to drive another 35-40 minutes to get back home.
And then the next date was the Saturday. That same Saturday, and we decided we want to spend the whole day together. And we wanted to go on a hike, but again, COVID.
I remember that. Yeah,
we didn't think about it, but back then you had to like reserve your spot at the hike because of COVID. They didn't want too many people.
It was that people who live in Montreal. It's the reserve, the McGill Reserve at
Mont-Saint-Hilaire.
Yeah.
And we just didn't think about it, so we got there and it was full. So it was early September, and we decided to go apple picking instead. So that was like one of our first date. After apple picking, we like chilled in like a football court or something.
Oh, and I picked up Ovive.
Yeah,
we just did that recently. We did a TikTok.
We did our anniversary video on that channel where we kind of reenacted that first date. That second date actually.
Second date. Third date, Lola Rosa. Love. I'm super mixed up.
No, love was like our
when the hell 5th date?
Yeah.
Why do I only have that in my mind?
Because
we also had a date where we kind of chilled, and we chilled in the back of the van And we just
So
talked.
That was before love, actually.
That was before love?
Yep.
It was like our third or fourth date.
Yeah.
And then we went to love, and that same night we watched Mulan.
Yeah.
Well, watched Mulan.
Yeah, watched Mulan. So that's how we met, and basically we just kept going on dates, I guess, and then eventually we just were chilling all the freaking time. So we kind of moved in at my place.
Jesus, not just that. Well, yeah, I moved in really quick, like
it's
a month in.
We didn't date.
No, we
It's
didn't
like
date.
we just were
We knew
best
it was
friend
very
instantly. And then you know,
she was meeting me at work in the morning, and we would go out for our workouts in the morning. We would go running, and then I would start off my workout, and she would go home. And you were in a good place, though. You were in an amazing place. Like, you were just starting off your business, so you would work like 2-3 hours a day, 4 hours max. Then the rest of the day, you were really had time for yourself.
I remember at the end of 2020, it's like when I really started like pushing my brand to the next level. In 2021 was my quantum year, as I say, where my revenue is like quintuple, like
Quintupled, yeah.
Quintuple.
Quintupled.
I don't know how to say that. Like 5 times my revenues from 2020. So yeah, it's like we didn't date. We just went straight up to like we met, and then we were best friends, and we were boyfriend girlfriends.
Yeah.
And like that's the rest is history. And we have the rest is history. Look at this little guy sleeping on me, and he's snoring. So
yeah, I mean, it was amazing.
It's an amazing story, and I keep thinking how, I don't know, fate, synchronicity, like God, the universe was in play in that story, because
100%.
The fact that I chose where we were going, like the Monday before, like we didn't know we were going to Tremblant. I kind of just looked at the Airbnb up north, and I saw this one in Tremblant. Fate was at play
100%.
For how we met.
Even you guys walking in, just
deciding that we were going in,
crazy.
Just
fate, you guys walking in and me not being a pussy and going to see you guys and talking to you guys.
I mean, just how everything synchronized together for us to meet, and then the rest is history. Like we literally spent all those 2 years like together. Like the longest we've been apart was 2 weeks when I went to Mexico with my girlfriend in October of 2021. So like a year ago.
Shit, I remember it was a month in. I'm pretty sure I moved in pretty much a month in.
You moved in, like it was just logical because I was living by myself.
She gave me one drawer. I was 8 minutes from work. He was living
at his dad's still, so it was just so, and he was like 10 minutes away from work from my place compared to your place where you were like 20-30 minutes away.
Yeah.
So it just made so much sense.
Yeah,
so he was just at my place all the time. So he like moved in by the first month, second month. And yeah, I gave him one drawer.
I only needed one drawer.
That's all he needs anyway. Minimalist.
Had nothing, yeah.
And yeah, 2 years later, 2 years and like 3 months later, we have this little guy with us. You're so good during that podcast, baby boy. You're snoring and you're sleeping.
I know. I'm blessed with a little baby boy who's an absolute angel.
So I guess that's
pretty much concludes our story. Yeah,
that concludes our story. Super exciting to share that with the world. I mean, it's an amazing story. I just love our story so much, you know. And I guess we're gonna be talking about like the dating world and how people meet
for
now
sure.
on
We're
this
gonna be
podcast.
talking about
and
a
I
bunch
feel like
of stuff.
This is so rare nowadays that people meet that like two complete strangers. We don't have one friend in common, like nothing in common.
Yeah, that's true.
From two different backgrounds, your Italian background, like Quebecois background, we're like
completely.
There was no other way for us to meet than
and how well we mesh together is very. It's
like
you don't see that very often.
I understood your humor right away, and like you understood mine. You love my quirkiness right away. Which I mean, not everyone likes.
We were very
like that.
No. We were open to each other. We were both in like places in our lives where we were both like ready to accept one another.
Yeah,
let's say this would have happened like 100%. This happened 2-3 years ago before our travels. This would have never worked out. Yep. We were not ready for each other.
We were ready for. It's so well said. We were ready for each other.
Yeah, we were ready for each other.
So I guess in the comments, ask us questions like.
Or like,
give us topics you'd like to discuss.
What do you want us to talk about?
As you can see, like we just love talking. There's so many
things to say.
I know. What's that?
It's just a timer. It's a timer.
Okay, it's a timer.
So I honestly think that most of our videos coming up are probably going to be a lot about like this schooling system, a lot about families, a lot about the dating world, a lot about what's going on, like parenting.
I mean, it's
all the new things that we're experiencing and some of the things that we're reflecting on.
We're 7 weeks in with this little guy, and I think we're doing really amazing. So I'm really excited to like just kind of share our beliefs, our values, and like our 100%. Ways of doing things.
As everything is unique, and I feel like it's nice to have a different perspective.
And if you guys have any ideas of names, I mean, I don't know why
our podcast name,
a podcast name, like
yeah.
I don't know. I feel like it's gonna come.
It is. It's gonna come.
But Just,
Eventually it's gonna come.
and again, don't forget to like
And subscribe.
for more of Val and Nico.
Cool. Nice.
It's out.
Ciao, guys.
Ladies and gentlemen, our national anthem.